Today is May 13th, 2015, and I am practicing how I want to look tomorrow for court. So, look kind of rumpled up right now, but I am in yet another case in Coquille, Oregon, over one of my baby girls. And yeah, this is the place. This is the area where the whole Fight Club thing started, and the great inspiration for the movie Fight Club. And I, actually, I guess, was the inspiration for Helena Bonham Carter's character. Although in the movie, she doesn't go to fight clubs and fight herself, which is something I did with a bunch of these people over here. She goes to a bunch of self-help groups, and that is also something that I did, because as a preteen who had her baby being kidnapped from her by the government, I thought, well, what am I doing with my time? I better start do some networking and establishing some friends in the area. So I went to AA, even though I wasn't an alcoholic, and I went to the sleep, whatever those people are, the people that can't sleep ever, who are awake all the time. Yeah, I went to those meetings, even though I didn't have a sleeping problem. And I went to the Gardeners Club. I tried all of the little Rotary clubs, Kiwanis, Lions Club, did all those bases. And what did I not try? I tried the anti-government club, the atheist club. I looked for a chess club. And I went to all the churches, you know, all of them, not just one. And what's the most unusual club I went to, or meeting that I went to? Because a lot of these meetings that I went to were self-help groups, as I say. You had to introduce yourself. They were all sort of along the same lines of an Alcoholics Anonymous place. I guess the narcotics group was kind of interesting. And people kind of went there to hook up, it seemed. Oh, yeah. I went to the Sexaholics group. Yeah, as a preteen. Really had a place being there, because I was a real sexaholic. Somehow, the judge found out about it. Yeah, I think it was the only time I really saw Judge Gillespie with a serious sense of humor. Couldn't believe I had gone to a sexaholics group. But I did, and they let me in. Because, what did they know? I might have been a sexaholic. I mean, aren't there a lot of them at age like 12? I'm sure that there are. So, and actually, you couldn't make fun of anybody about anything in any of those groups. Not even yourself, because if you made fun of yourself even a little over there, it's like, well, someone thought you were maybe poking fun at them instead and just using yourself. So, yeah. So that's something that I did, actually. I actually had my baby girls stolen from me. This is going to be the third time now in this area of Coos Bay. And I have alleged that these baby girls of mine have been clones, and they are. And that's a longer story that I'm not going to get into right now all at once. But they are clones. The very first baby girl that I had, I'm not sure. I mean, she was possibly, I don't know if the other ones were cloned off of her, or if she was a clone too and she was implanted in me, and I just thought that I somehow got pregnant otherwise, because I wasn't going around sleeping with people. And the reason why I knew by the second time I'd had a baby girl that I had clones is because you don't have another kid that looks exactly identical to the one you just had a year earlier or so, unless it's a clone. You know, you don't have identical twins. There are a few medical exceptions where you have one that is that's born like a year later from the other one, like really, really rare circumstances. Maybe not a whole year, but you know, a couple months or something. But anyway, so I have had clones, and they are my babies. They're not the government's, but the government thinks that if they clone them and they use someone to be an incubator, even if it's your own genetic material and these are your own babies, they think that they own them. So I've already talked a little bit about what I think about the United States and their human cloning program. And I have a sense of humor, but it's really not funny what they've done to me or to my baby girls. They've lied and kidnapped all of us. They basically raped me, tortured me my entire life, and made a lot of excuses for themselves, made a lot of money off of me. And I want to be pro se. I tried to be pro se for this case. There's nothing that would keep me from litigating my own case or being actively trying to do that. But the judge blocked me from that and came up with a couple of excuses that were not good enough excuses. But the Supreme Court will think that they are, because that's what they did the last time. They didn't give me any kind of grounds for going forward with an appeal for anything. You know, it was all my fault. You know, everything that I did was wrong. And of course, and I was mentally ill, they said too. And I'm not. And there's no way for me to be able to get my kids back when the government is illegally colluding to lie about me, other than to have serious extensions where I have time to get a lot of documentation from the government. And it would require subpoenas coming from the judge, like a judge's order. And the thing is I have a few records, I have a few things here and there, but the judge isn't going to subpoena anything because this judge is in on it. Yeah, he won't recuse himself. I asked for a change of venue. They won't give me a change of venue. And then when I wanted to be pro se, they just blocked me, saying that I was incompetent. You know, I'm sorry, but not incompetent. So I'm going to read a couple of the witness statements that I did get. And which I didn't file because right now, where am I supposed to file this exactly? Because basically, in this court, everyone's corrupt, including my public defenders. You know, the public defenders are the same ones I had for the last two other cases, and they're lying and saying that they never had cases before. Everyone's come up with a really weird, convenient cover over in this area. It's like a nightmare over here. Like a big black hole trap is what it is. Because all their records just disappear like it's the Bermuda Triangle. And they claim they have new cover stories like every decade. Every decade, it's the first time the judge has ever worked at such and such a place. And so-and-so has only been working at such and such a place for 2 years. When, yeah, right. Like a decade ago, she was working at such and such a place for only 2 years, too. You know, these people are rehashing the exact same stories and lying. And I'm not sure if there are seriously records backing all of that. Like someone is deleting all of the information and everything. Or if they're just lying to me, to my face, so that they hope that I don't ask for a subpoena. Or that I feel intimidated asking for one. Because what if it turns out that they got fudged records that make it look like they have only been working for such an amount of time, when really I've seen them multiple times in the area, you know, like 3 different times, working the same position and with the same claims of, I never worked here before. So this whole area is like locked down government black site, basically. And I mean, I'm serious. All of Coos Bay and Coquille is like that. If I try to remove this case, which is really what needs to happen, this case needs to be removed to federal court. The problem is, I can't remove it to Eugene federal court because I got abused and jumped by the Eugene judges over there. And it was over this guy that got, well, I'm not sure exactly what it was over, but one person who showed up over there in Eugene was Gary Goldsmith, Kate Middleton's uncle. And this area has been really supportive of the Middletons, which is okay, fine, but they've tortured me over it. And they've made a point to tell me that that's why they're torturing me over it. So I got jumped by some judges in Eugene, with one of them saying all this stuff about Kate Middleton and this and that. And then the other thing that they were yelling at me over, they were saying that I was sending a black guy to prison for something that he didn't do, but I did. And so here were these Eugene judges, and that guy actually happened to go to a Eugene penitentiary. So, trying to go to Eugene federal court is not going to work. I also recently tried to, not too long ago, a couple years ago, tried to send in a writ of habeas corpus for being basically a hostage and trying to get notice of that, in addition to the fact that I've tried to get political asylum from this country almost my entire life. And I did file a writ of habeas corpus. I went to a magistrate, and that guy was like somebody that I already knew. He has a serious conflict of interest. I had to stay at his house when I was a kid. And he's really corrupt. I mean, a lot of people know that he is. And he slammed me. He made me sound like I was totally crazy in his response to my writ of habeas corpus. And it was supposed to go to a judge, not to a magistrate, but it went to him, Clark. Magistrate Clark. So, all I have is like stuff that's tampered with over there. And then, Portland, I kind of think might be better, but maybe not. Maybe there's a federal judge over in Eugene that's all right. It's not the magistrate. But over in Portland, I actually got jumped as a younger kid when I was very young. Had some horrible things happen with some of the guys over there. And then I tried to file a lawsuit against judges. And that was the last lawsuit that I tried to file as a plaintiff. And I had my car stolen. I had a judge from a different state call in an incorrect citation on my license, claiming it was suspended when it wasn't, just to have cops on alert to pull me over, take my car away from me when I was in the middle of college and working and commuting between two states, and in the middle of 3 different lawsuits that I filed personally as a plaintiff and was holding up on my own for over a year by that time, which is not an easy thing to do, by the way. And they decided that, well, now that she's filed this lawsuit in federal court about judges, they decided they'd had enough of that and enough of everything. And so they had my car towed. And I'm sorry, but the FBI was involved in that. And it wasn't just a judge that helped initiate that whole plot to obstruct my travel and make it impossible for me to continue my cases. It was the FBI. And they've been behind a lot of the problem. So, when I can't get the FBI to investigate anything because they are the problem, but who am I supposed to go to? What I am making this video about right now is, I'm going to read these witness statements really quick. And then what I'm making this about is, why I'm making this is I really need more than this one person who was willing to say, okay, yes, I'll say that I know you had a baby girl before, or I know where she is. Even if you don't know where she is, just being able to say, yeah, I know you had a baby in the past. Girl. I had my son Oliver, and they kept that public information, didn't supposedly delete all of his records, but all of my baby girls that the government cloned and thinks they own, in part of their slavery system, they've lied about everything. So, and they were taking like reproductive stuff from me when I was very young without my consent, and before I was old enough to even give proper consent. And then they said, you know, we want you to work with us. You know, they never wanted me to work with them. I'm completely clueless as to what they seriously wanted me to do with them. I mean, they had me doing a little bit here, a little bit there, as a kid, all over the place. Never paid me for any of it. Never gave me any real skills to build from, and just moved me around and were defaming me. They wanted me out of work. They didn't want me to be working for them. They didn't want me to work for anyone else either. They wanted to make sure that that basically they could just experiment on me and see what I did in different kinds of situations, make sure that they had someone who was blackmailed in any possible or potential situation who would say something bad about me. You know, I'm sure that there are some people that liked me, but when it came to the government, they were just covering for themselves. So I don't know why so many people have been lying about me, and lying just about some of the most basic facts of, you know, things that I've talked about and things that are publicly known, or, you know, people have seen me with my baby girls, and they saw me when I was pregnant. They talk, they know what's going on, and I would just like to have someone who is able to say that these things happen. Also, I hope that there are people in other countries that will see this and that will speak up or try to get a hold of me and be able to say, yeah, I recognize you and I saw you in our country. And actually, probably right now I'm not the most recognizable because I'm older. Right now my hair is dyed black, and my hair is naturally red. But I've been in other countries with black hair, you know, dark hair, and also with red hair. So if you saw me in any kind of a situation, or you think that you did, or you heard of a girl named Cameo, or Claire, or Anna, and you think that possibly it's me, please contact me, because I need to have some witnesses, and I need more than one person. This witness statement is witness statement 3. I'm going to go from bottom up. So, this says, you know, that basically well, I'm going to go from the first one because they kind of, one follows after the other. First one says, I've been employed as a licensed paramedic for Coos County since 2004. I know Cameo Garrett has lived in the town of Coquille at various times for several decades. She had a case in 1987 and another case after that. Okay, I'm going to now break to a different video, and then I'm going to start these